What's up YouTube, Zabza here bringing you an RU match. Looking at my opponent's team, he's got a KaelanKhaos, Clefable, Hariyama, Sandslash, Druddigon, and Slowking. And I gotta say, this is a fairly defensive team. I mean, if you look at it, Clefable and Slowking have potential to be serious, especially defensive walls. And the same can be said about Sandslash and Druddigon, but for physically defensive. And Hariyama can be known to have mass amounts of HP. The only thing that doesn't seem to be bulky on this team is KaelanKhaos. Well, enough of me talking, let's get into it. My opponent today is KaelanKhaos. We went ahead and set up a battle through Skype. I'm going to lead off with my Buzzard. He Z-leads up with his KaelanKhaos. I'm going to go for the Stealth Rock first turn as he goes for the Volt Switch, which brings me down to my Sash, but I'm not too worried. That's what my Archeops does. It comes in, sets up rocks, then dies. He's going to get his Flame Wire activated on his Hariyama and go for the Bullet Bunch just to take me out. So I'm going to go into my Herald and I'm going to scare him out, and I'm actually going to go for the Trick Room here. He goes into his Slowking, and I'm going to go for the U-turn, expecting to do a bit of damage. He goes for the Scald, and I don't get the burn, thankfully. So I'm going to switch out into my Shrimp and go for the X-Scissor, and it's going to take this thing out, which is a lot considering Slowkings do have quite a bit of HP. He switches into a Sandslash, and I just go for another X-Scissor, and he's going to go for the Rapid Spin, which wasn't exactly a good idea on his part, considering most of my team has access to Stealth Rocks, even though that my Archeops is the only one that actually has it. I'm going to get Toxic and going to switch out in my Herald because I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here, as he sets up his own Stealth Rocks, and I'm going to see if I need to set up my Trick Room again, and going to go for a Psychic, trying to prey on that thing's low special defense, but he goes into Druddigon, as I go into my Tech Yo-Yo, as he's going to go for the Dragon Claw. So now I'm in a pretty good position here, as he sends out his KaelanKhaos, and I'm going to set up my Trick Room again. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I don't want to Volt Switch against this thing, considering he's probably just going to Volt Switch, so I'm going to go for the Gear Grind to get off a little bit of damage. He's going to switch out into his Sandslash again, which means I can't Volt Switch, but it doesn't mean I can't switch out at all. I'm going to switch out and go to my Herald, so that way I can go for a U-turn if needed, as he goes for a Toxic and nicely predicts this. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. He switches into his KaelanKhaos again, and I go for the U-turn, and I'm going to go into my Bowser Jr., which, thanks to Sheer Force and Life Orb, this thing has massive attacks and massive attack stat, and I'm going to be able to knock it out with a Fire Punch, as he switches into Hariyama and goes for a Fake Out just to stall out the Trick Room a little bit more. Now I'm expecting Bullet Punch here, so I actually switch out, and I go into my Herald and to take the Close Combat, which he takes it very nice. And now he's going to switch out and go into his Clefable. I'm going to go for the Heal Bell to get rid of my Toxic, and to get rid of Shrimp's Toxic, and I'm just not sure how to handle this Clefable, because I don't know if it's a stall set or if it's a Cosmic Power set, and I'm just not sure what to do at this point, because this is a very stally and bulky team, which is very hard for my Trick Room to deal with, because I'm very, very offensive. So I'm going to switch out into my Tech Yo-Yo, and I'm going to try and set up a Trick Room, but instead I think that I actually forget. I'm not going to try and set up this Trick Room. I'm actually going to wait for it to end, because this thing's going to be faster, and I'm thinking a Shift Gear would have done it, but I miscount the Trick Room number, so it's actually going to work against me. So I send out my Noodles, and I'm going to put it to sleep because this thing is so annoying. And I actually expecting the switch, so I go for Leaf Storm. So over prediction on my part, as he goes for the Wish, and I go with the Focus Blast, thinking at that amount of HP I should be able to take it out. And now I know he's going to protect, so I'm going to switch into my Herald just so I can get a little bit of recovery with Generator. And yeah, this Clefable's trolling me pretty bad. So I'm going to go for U-turn just to switch out here, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I switch into Noodles, and I'm thinking I can take another Seismic Toss if needed, and I can go for the Focus Blast, but he switches into Hariyama, and I actually try and go for the Sleep Powder, but he predicts that. It's just a complete battle of prediction here, and I am not on the winning side. So he goes for Fake Out, and it's going to hurt Shrimp a lot, and a Bullet Punch from a burned Hariyama is going to be just enough to take it out. So I go into Noodles just so I can get the Regenerator, and switch out immediately into Herald, which is going to get knocked out. So I'm going to switch back into my Noodles and going to hope that I can take close combat, because even though I'm not defensive, it does have some good defensive bulk naturally. And really, I shouldn't have gone for the hidden power there, because it probably would have died to burn damage. And now, it's Druddigan versus Druddigan. He goes for Sucker Punch. I'm guessing he had a similar build and he was expecting to outslow, but he doesn't. I go for Outrage. I get Rough Skin Burn, recoil, and that's going to be the end of the battle.